Live.
All right, let's
check it out.
The $1 million check.
Check.
I wish it were $1 million.
Be nice.
All right, let's see here. Talking Toast. It is 8:25, so you have 3 minutes before we officially start.
You do.
To share it on Facebook, to grab a drink, and to grab a friend. But don't grab your friend's drink unless you're bringing them one.
It's working. And it even has my new titles and all that, which is a completely different... I know this is like technical mumbo jumbo, but this is completely different from any way I've ever done it.
Every time it's a different experience.
I know.
Well,
it's just what happens.
It's Tuesday night in October. There's a chill in the air. No better time to join us.
And I'm wearing the long sleeve shirt and you're wearing the short sleeve shirt.
We have switched roles.
We have.
Well, it's because I went and worked out right before this.
We have not switched roles.
I am sweaty and hot and haven't had a chance to take a shower.
And I'm just hot.
Oh gosh.
Man.
So yeah, let us know where you're joining us from, what the weather's like out your window, and maybe what you're enjoying tonight as your drink of choice.
I'm very interested in this. There's this thing that says chat overlay over here, and we could put the chat up on the screen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know how to do it exactly, but...
No, we shouldn't do that until we know that my dad's not going to make weird comments.
We shouldn't just do that. Oh, man. Well, yeah, it's 8:27. Let us know where you're watching from tonight, and if this goes on for a while... Sorry, if this...
We're only going to go for about 20 minutes.
No. If
you're joining us
later in the week, thank you. we will go back and check the comments.
Y'all, my husband has had like an out of body day. I keep looking at him like, "Are you okay?"
You're like, you haven't responded to me. I was like, I haven't responded to anybody.
I walked in the door tonight from the gym, and I was completely ignored by every creature in my house except for the dog.
Yeah,
thank God for the dog.
Yeah. Well, let's get started. It's 8:28. This is what time we meet for Talking Toast. Every Tuesday night, we meet for Talking Toast, and we share a little bit about what's going on in the world, what's going on in our lives, and then what's going on in our church. Because what we do is we do a little bit of a sermon breakdown. We pull back the curtain on the creative process. That curtain's really crusty. You just gotta peel it on back. We pull back the curtain on the creative process and share a little bit about what the text means to us. But we want it to be a conversation. We want Talking Toast to be something where you have a chance to respond if there's something in here that's meaningful to you. We would love to hear it, and we would also love to hear where you're viewing from tonight. We've not gotten a chat yet, so I'm hoping that the chat is going to work here.
The chat's definitely working.
It is working? Oh, there we go.
Tuning in from across town.
Good. So, we do have a chat that's working. All right, it's never worked that way before, so this is good. But yeah, let us know, again, where you're viewing from. Let us know, what the temperature is.
I literally just said that.
I'm sorry. I told you I'm not firing on all cylinders tonight.
Exhibit A.
Yep. So, yeah, this is...
So we start every Talking Toast with the same very simple question. And it's not what the weather is like. Stop.
Oh, sorry.
So we want to know what's sustaining you. Barbara Brown Taylor, who's this great, wonderful writer, was once asked to give a lecture on salvation. And she was, she's kind of smart. and to say
She's
the least,
brilliant.
She's brilliant. And she basically said, like, who am I to talk about salvation? And so she was talking to somebody about how to prepare for that type of lecture, and they said to her, why don't you just talk about what's saving your life today?
What's saving your life right now?
So our question is simple. What's saving your life today? What is that 808 beat that's getting you by? What is the thing that is sustaining you, that is helping you tap into the depth that is holding you up? However you want to call it.
Yeah. Let us know. You can type in, and we'd love to know what is sustaining you. We need to make T-shirts that say that. What is sustaining you? We'll do that one day. So yeah, Rachel Pennington says, knowing I'm seeing you both in just a few days.
You're not actually going to be seeing John.
When is she coming?
She's coming on Friday.
Dadgummit!
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can FaceTime.
Yeah. I'm solo parenting this weekend because Johnny's going to the beach for a regional assembly. And I'm staying here to host Rachel and go to a few weddings.
I did not realize Rachel was coming up this weekend. You've been hiding that from me.
It's literally on our family calendar.
No, it is not.
It is on our family calendar.
You've been hiding it from me, Rachel. Well, Rachel, we will watch football one day. One day. It'll happen. So what is sustaining you? How about, Katie, why don't you start off with, what is sustaining with? Start off tonight. Telling us what is sustaining you.
Clearly you're not being sustained by anything because
I just hit a wall.
We've got some problems over here.
Yeah. Bill Harding said being home is the best. Dallas was 91. Yeah, we had a friend who was in Texas this weekend and basically said it got up to, what was it, 92? Is that what he said?
He's 98.
98, yeah. And people passed out in the funeral that he went to. Because it was too hot.
Nothing says hellfire and brimstone like 98 degrees in October.
At a funeral. Chantel Frel said, "You're back. I was so sad." I'm sorry you were sad, but I'm glad to be back too.
I was sad that we missed you, and I was sad that we missed there was a choral flash mob on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch.
We were in the car on Monday, and we haven't really had a chance to go back and watch yet, but we will, because Sylvia Ramos preached, and I want to go hear what she had to say, and I want to hear the choir. And
Yep.
All right. So, what's sustaining you?
So, what is sustaining me? We got to see our dear friends over the weekend, who we kind of have been. I mean, they've kind of been chosen family for us for the last at least 10 years, and so I'm really grateful for them and that we got to see them and share a weekend together. And we went to Dollywood, which is one of my favorite places in the universe. Mm-hmm. And we got to ride roller coasters and eat really, and Bill says
great food.
Bill says the State Fair had 100 deep fried food delights. I mean, that feels like
Dollywood.
Feels like Dollywood.
Yep.
The double fried footlong corn dog.
Yeah. Chef's kiss. So good.
Yeah, I did eat some Indian food tonight to like cleanse my system of the fried foods that I ate while I was in the deep south. But anyway, it was great. It was so really life-giving. And we all got to like hang with each other's kids and get to know the Spawn.
The Spawns.
and it was so fun. It was so fun.
It was great. So if our friends are watching tonight, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
That was awesome. All right. What is sustaining you?
Same thing.
Besides,
there is something about getting out of town and being with friends. But then also for me, that getting out of the town part is driving. There's something about the lines on the road. I'm not a huge fan of traffic, but whenever it's an open road and you can just drive and those white lines, there's something mesmerizing to me about that. and also healing. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, every once in a while, I just need a good road trip.
But it's
And,
have you heard the studies about Tetris being healing of trauma? Because of the way that your eyes have to go back and forth following the blocks. I wonder if it's a similar pattern in following the dotted lines on the road. That your eyes have to they compare Tetris to like mini sessions of what is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. What is there's a type of therapy that deals specifically with trauma, and I can't think of it all of a sudden right now. But I'm wondering if that's
there's something about it.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Julia said that's called highway hypnosis. Yeah, and maybe I have not quite gotten out of that hypnotic state. Lisa said warm coffee delivered to her at the pumpkin patch sustained me.
That was
Cognitive behavioral therapy. There you go.
Yeah,
You brought the coffee. That's awesome.
I told Lisa this. I really just wanted an excuse to go get coffee.
Yeah, that's all right. We need it sometimes. That's good.
That's good stuff. Maybe that's why I've got energy and you don't.
Maybe
I had
so.
a 3:00 coffee.
Yeah, 3:00 coffee.
I had a 3:00 coffee.
That's
EMDR.
That's
EMDR. That's it, Rachel. You got it.
That's exactly what's going on. You had coffee this afternoon.
I had coffee at 3.
And I just kind of like plowed through. Got it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, this weekend, this Sunday, we're in this sermon process. We kind of have a theme, and that theme is control. And so I was trying to think of a good song to put in the title. If every week I try and put something in the title. If you know what that title is,
there is one person who
chime
comes
in.
here for the song reference.
Yeah.
And that is Rachel Pennington.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll probably know it. I can't hear these lyrics. Have you seen what I put in there?
I haven't.
It's I've got chills. They're multiplying.
And
I'm losing control. They're multiplying. And I'm losing cognitive function. So anyway, yeah. So you know it. Grease is the word. Very good. Good job, Rachel. So yeah. So I'm losing all control. These two texts together are going to be interesting.
Yeah.
One is, the first one that I'm going to preach from, picks up in the middle of wisdom literature. This is Job. And it's this story of Job. It's poetry. It is heady poetry. It is a very interesting it's a very interesting story. There's an old phrase like, the Bible is true and some of it happened. Like, this is not, there's some truth to be found in Job. It's really hard to get through some of the truth that can be found in Job. It definitely didn't happen. This is just a story, and it's meant to make us think. And so Job 38, 1 through 7, and then 34 through 41 is
but
where...
rewind.
Yeah.
Job, for those who might not be familiar.
Yeah.
People talk about the patience of Job.
Yeah.
Job was this supposedly, righteous person who the Satan or the devil, some kind of evil figure, and God are bargaining about trying to get him to not be so righteous. And so...
All right, hang on.
Yeah.
I got it. So 38,
I
1
was
through
just
7.
going to give some background.
I know I'm going to, but
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I got it planned out. 38, 1 through 7, 34 through 41. What has happened is Job has lost everything in this mix. And you're right. There is this cosmic powers that are basically at odds with one another. And in the text, it does say Satan and it does say God.
Sorry.
You all right down there?
Gotta take off my ankle brace.
It does say Satan and it does say God. And basically, Satan has said, I've roamed the earth. And And what about your subject Job down there? And God says, Job is righteous and blameless. You could never turn Job. And Satan basically says, yeah, because he's got everything. The dude is as wealthy as he could possibly be. He has a great family. He has everything he could possibly want. Of course, yeah, somebody like that's going to be righteous. And so then Job loses everything. And it's basically 30 chapters of Job just going through it. And so finally Job gets to a point where he says, what is going on? Who are you, God? He's basically clenched fists shouting to the heavens, and God responds. And God's response takes place in a whirlwind. And there's something about that to me that the whirlwind to me says chaos. The whirlwind to me says uncontrollable. The whirlwind to me says something about life. And then God speaking in and basically challenges Job in this whole thing. Who are you to say these things? Who are you to question the God of creation? Who are you? And kind of goes through all of these different kinds of things. And it's wisdom literature, because Job then responds back and says, I've opened my mouth once, and I'm wise enough not to open my mouth again in this way. I need to sit back and listen. So there's wisdom in the listening. And then so there's wisdom in the listening, and then there's also God in the whirlwind. And if that's not a metaphor that is needed for life, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Is God in the whirlwind? Is God still speaking even when we're in the midst of all of that?
When it feels like there is nothing but chaos.
Yeah.
There is some kind of anchor, some kind of presence that is still there.
Yeah. So when it feels like everything is completely out of control, the question is, well, what can we control? And so for Job, it was, I can listen. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
I don't know where all this text is going to take me by the end of the week, but that's where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah. So it's interesting that's like Job loses everything. And basically the divine bet is, okay, when Job is not in control, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
And so they set up, the writer sets up a situation where Job loses all control, to see who wins the bet. Will it be the divine figure or the evil one, or the evil figure in this piece of literature? And so it's interesting because then in the New Testament text, there's not the bet between the two forces in the world, but what you do find is this grasping for power, this grasping for control. And I really find it's so interesting, because as we're talking about control over this next week, one image of control might be the kind of impulse to quell the storm, or to quell the chaos, or to manipulate the chaos so that it's not so chaotic, right? And so that might be one image of control. Another image of control is power. Is wielding power, is manipulating yourself to be in power. And so we find in the gospel lesson, so these two lessons, remember, are intentionally paired together by our lectionary, our 3-year cycle of text.
You tell them which one.
I'm getting to it.
Sorry. Oh, you said the gospel lesson. I was just saying.
I was getting to it.
Sorry.
So, so this gospel lesson in Mark 10 was I was literally about to say it. So it is offering this image of the disciples who are grasping for power. James and John, the sons of Zebedee.
The sons of thunder.
The sons of thunder. So why are they called the sons of thunder, John?
Nobody knows.
Why?
There's an old tale.
What is the tale about them being called the sons of thunder?
There's an old tale that has. I don't even know where I heard this now.
I think I heard it in a Young Life thing.
Oh, really?
Which
then I don't want to say it again. Then
no, say it.
No,
say it.
There were people sitting around the campfire, right? And it was people telling jokes and doing things that happen around the campfire, and so Sons of Thunder. They
supposedly
it was.
Rumor has it that they flatulated,
and they had the best,
and so they were called the Sons of Thunder.
Which
but
cannot be verified.
But most likely they were actually just the sons of Zebedee, and Zebedee was their father. Mm-hmm. And his name just happened to mean thunder. Yeah. So there's that.
The Thunder Brothers.
James and John are asking Jesus for the place of prominence. To sit on his right side, which is obviously the left side was seen as inferior. And so they're arguing about who's going to be in that place of prominence. Basically, who's going to be the second in command? Who's going to be the second most powerful person in this movement? And Jesus is like, what are you arguing about again?
Yeah, because it's Peter anyway.
Yeah,
I'm just joking.
Right.
That was a bad joke, but I thought it was funny because, like, Peter, you're going to be the rock upon which I build my church.
It is so funny because I looked over at you and I thought, this guy's got something cooking in his head because he was grinning, and I was just waiting for it, and then out came, like, you had this alley cat grin. It was great.
Hey, Sharon.
So we've got the Sons of Thunder, and they're grasping for power. I think this text, to me, is a warning to all of those who would seek power and those who would follow them. Those who seek to grasp power and those who would follow the graspers. Which I think, what an interesting time to be reading about those who would seek power. Yeah. In the middle of this really contentious and high stakes election. And
what an interesting time to be talking about control in this, where it feels like as the electorate, right? As the people who are going to the ballot box, we play one little part.
Very little control in the whole thing. Very little control,
right?
Yeah, very little control. Yeah,
and it feels like the whole thing is chaotic.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So my text ends with this whole saying about the last shall be first and the first shall be last, really flipping leadership on its head, saying that the leader, the true leader, is going to be the servant of all. And that leadership is not about grasping. Leadership is not about control. And so the question then is, what does that mean for individuals who, we're in a different time where we are tasked, many of us are tasked in our jobs with leadership. So what does it mean to be a servant leader? What does it mean to give up control on a regular basis? And even for some people who might not be coming from a religious perspective, but simply looking at this as a wisdom teaching, kind of like the book of Job. A question would be, what are we seeking in pursuit of power? Are we seeking the accolades that come with it, the ease that is perceived to come with it? Because, Jesus talks about it's not going to be easy like you think it's going to be. He talks about then you must go through the baptism that I'm going to go through, and you're going to have to drink the cup, and you're going to have to do all of these things that you're not going to want to do. So it begs us to ask the question, what does leadership look like? What does it mean to pursue a kenosis, a giving up of power, as a way of leading a moral and ethical life in this world?
Yeah. Which is a very interesting way of leading, right?
Yeah.
I think Jesus gives a completely countercultural view of leadership.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so what can we control in it, and what does the not seeking out the power look like?
I have always wanted to go through the Gospels and do an in-depth study of every time Jesus either himself gives up power mainly, and or when he teaches about giving up power. Because I really think a lot of the spiritual life is about claiming one's own power and redistributing it to the powerless. And I think that's what Jesus is getting to in all of these teachings about power and about control. And I think even in the book of Job, the wisdom writer is getting to this sense of, like, at the heart of Job's spirituality is some sort of response to the loss of power.
Mm-hmm.
And the giving up of power.
Sure.
And so I used to think, you remember the old saying about, like, the true character of a person is who they are when nobody's looking?
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, what if the true character of somebody comes out as who they are when given the opportunity to give up power or take it?
Yeah. Sharon had a really good comment. The powerless will rise and the mighty will fall. The powerful will be sent away, according to Mary. Yeah. That's Mary's song.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Gospels, they're all centered around this dynamic of giving up power and seizing it. And those who give it up are kind of at odds with those who would seize it.
Yeah. You have, I mean, in that story that Sharon's bringing up, that we're about to enter into this time of Advent, where it's the preparing takes place, you have shepherds involved, powerless.
Mm-hmm.
You have Mary involved, seemingly powerless.
Yeah.
You have this Jesus born in a manger, didn't have enough sway to be able to have like a spot to be birthed in as their family. Then you have Jesus growing up, showing this over and over again. End of his life, he comes in on a donkey through the back gate.
And yet, the other thing, when he's born, who is the one who is most afraid?
Yeah, the powerful.
The most powerful, Herod. So throughout, you see this powerful and powerless at odds with each other. And perhaps the spiritual life is about how we respond to the opportunity to seize power or give it up.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be done in the playing with the power and control, those two words together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting.
Well.
You woke up.
I did wake up. All of a sudden, you started talking about the whirlwind and the power and the control, and all of a sudden, it's like, man, the wheels are spinning.
And talk about powerless when a whirlwind is around you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm taking this, I'm a part of this cohort that's called the Strategic Pastor Cohort, which has been really, really life-giving so far. It's through the Pinnacle Leadership Association with great people. And I've been following along, and the last session that we went on was talking about how life is gray. Life is that middle area. We live in the middle of things. And it took me back to the word liminal in divinity school. That was the first time I'd ever heard that word. The space in between that it's chaotic, but it has all kinds of promise, and it also has change involved and losing, giving up.
Yep.
That liminal space. I don't think I was fully prepared for life to be so liminal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that's a really good point of, like, it's a constant giving up of power, a constant recognizing, whoa, I don't have control in this situation.
Yeah.
What can I control?
Yeah.
Anyway, that to me, that whirlwind, it feels like the whirlwind happens a lot more often than I give it credit for.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Especially with a 7-year-old.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's being
She's been great.
tonight?
She's been great. Well, let's do some toasting. We've done some talking tonight. So glad to see all the chatting going on. It's good stuff. And yeah, thank you all for participating. Can you start us off with a toast? You gonna live?
Yeah. I'm just getting over this cough, and every once in a while it rears its ugly head.
It does.
So go, friends, from this place, your place, wherever you may be, and remember that the spiritual life is a negotiation of the power dynamics that fill our lives, and that you are empowered to go forth from this place and give up that power.
And may you remember that even in the midst of the whirlwind, there is still wisdom to be found, and there is still wisdom to be acted upon.
Cheers. Cheers, y'all. Mm-hmm. Sophie, would you like to come say goodnight to everybody?
Yes.
You've got headphones on. You need to take them off.
Yep.
Why would you say quiet? What was I missed that one.
Because I said she's been quiet tonight.
Oh, yeah. She has been.
All right, you don't need to bring your blanket. Just come
All
on.
right. Tell everybody good night.
Say goodnight.
Night night.
See you next week, friends.
Bye, everybody.
Also,
No.
No. All right. Night, everybody.
okay. Thank you for everyone who likes talking to us.